Okay, some other stuff that we're looking at is solving linear equations. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at a linear equation, and it's linear because x is just a power of 1. And here, because they're on both sides of the equals, and we're not multiplying them, they are still power of 1. So it's linear because we've got a power of 1. Make straight line graphs. Okay, so over here, we're saying that we've got some number plus 2 equals 5. Well, that number has got to be 3. Now what we can do, we can also find it by doing an inverse operation. So we can rewrite this as x plus 2 equals 5. Now, we want x on its own, so it's really important. Realizing we want x by itself on the left or the right is really important because that's what that's what we're working towards. Now, we've got a plus 2, so to get rid of that plus 2, we have to say minus 2. We've got a minus 2 over on this side. What we do to one side, we have to do the other, so we can balance the equation. So then over here, we're left with x, because 2 minus 2 is 0, equals 5 minus 2 is 3. So as we said before, some number plus 2 equals 3. I may have overcomplicated that, but this is the maths behind it. I won't go through this every step. Okay, next one, 3 times some number plus 1 has got to be 13. So we've got 3x plus 1. We want x on its own. First thing to go is this 1. So we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So we're going to say we've got 3x plus 1 minus 1 equals 13 minus 1. Plus 1 minus 1 cancels, so we're left with 3x, or rather plus 1 minus 1 becomes 0, it doesn't cancel. 12, now 3 times x equals 12, so we've got 3 times x, the opposite of times is divide, so we're going to divide by 3, divide this by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we're left with x, 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Alright, gets a little bit more complicated, so that was a one-step equation. This was a two-step, this one I think is a three-step. So if we're saying we've got 4x plus 2 divided by 3, that means first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 3 first. So if we multiply both sides by 3, we're going to be left with 4x plus 2 equals 1 times 3. And we've got this, we've got this here as 3, and we are multiplying all that by 3. So what happens is this multiplies by this, and it disappears, becomes 1. So I'm going to just remove some of that because I'm running out of space here. So that's what we're left with now. We've got 4x plus 2 equals 3. So now we're going to take this 2, bring it over to the other side, or we're going to subtract 2 from both sides to make 4x equals 1. And just like before, we're going to divide by 4. We divide this side by 4, so we tell us that x equals 1, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so 1x equals 1 over 4. Okay, if we have brackets, sometimes we want to expand brackets, other times we don't. Over here, we see if we can divide our coefficient of the brackets easily with this here. So 3 does fit into 9, fits into 9 3 times. So if we divide both sides by 3, because 3 is multiplying all of this, we divide both sides by 3, that'll cancel, they make 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we've got x plus 1 equals 3. So now, plus 1, we've got to subtract 1 from both sides, so x is going to end up being 2. Now, we've got a coefficient, we've got another coefficient, they don't fit into each other at all here. So I think for these odds, it's better if we expand, and then we start moving stuff around. So this is going to become 2x minus 10, and that's why we learn how to expand, equals 3x plus 3. So now from there, what we want to do, we want to bring all the x's on one side and all the numbers on the other side. Now, if I was to take this 3x and bring it across to there, it's going to become negative. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and I don't want to be making x negative at all. Life's hard enough. So what I will do, I will subtract 2x from both sides. I'll move this number 3 over to the other side, or I'll subtract 3 from both sides, so that I'll just have x on its own here. So, like I said, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, so we're going to be left with 3x minus 2x, and I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so we're going to have over this side, we're going to have negative 10 minus 3. So now we've got negative 13 equals 3 minus 2x equals x. And of course, we can check these by substituting our values of x into the original equation. So over here, we substitute 3, then it becomes 3 plus 2 gives us 5. Over here, we're saying x equals 4. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Over here at a quarter, 4 times a quarter is 1, plus 2 is 3, divided by 3 is 1. We're saying we've got 2 here. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. We're saying we've got negative 13 here. This becomes negative 18. Over here, negative 13 plus 1 becomes negative 12. So this becomes negative 36. So 3 times negative 12 is negative 36. 2 times negative 18 is negative 36. So it all works out, everybody. So that's how we solve. What we want to be left with, we want to be left with 1x on its own on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. If we're dividing everything, as soon as we divide, we can always multiply. If we're multiplying x, then we divide. If we've got a set of brackets, we can expand, or if it fits in nicely, we can divide both sides by the coefficient. If we've got x's on both sides and they don't divide, then you expand and solve.